Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and of course, joining me here is Jason Cameron. I got to see this guy last night, and we had an absolute fantastic night. Epic, one of those ones we'll remember for a long, long
Oh,
time.
oh,
Uh, we have been on the show for people that watch it regularly. I'm sure you know, but anybody tuning in that isn't aware, we have been filming. We've been working on the filming of the second season of The Last of Us. I started in November, I think it was October, November. And the show is the largest production that's ever happened in Hollywood North, here in the lower mainland, Vancouver area up in Canada here. And it has been epic, just such a grand, massive scale that it's been very, very fun to be a part of. Filming just ended. We had a wrap party last night, and it was one of those ones where you were like, they really went full out and spent a lot of money, made sure everybody had a really good time. They were very appreciative of all our hard work, I guess, and we partook, and we had one of those epic nights. I'm really happy I went, and we had such a blast. It was so much fun.
it was great. It was great. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't expecting much from the party,
No?
but then what they put on, how they did it, how they put it together, it was unbelievable. It was
Yeah.
awesome. It was really, really well done. It was one of the best rap parties I've ever been to. And the fact that people did go with the theme. It was like
Yeah.
a Studio 54, like a 70s type theme. People dressed up. Some people had some great outfits,
Yeah.
fantastic outfits, and it was just a good time. Really, really good time. Really good
Okay,
time.
speaking of that, do you think you can grab that shirt you were wearing last night and show it on camera? I'll fill up the space for a minute because that was one of the hits of the night. Everybody loved your shirt. Everybody said so. If you could go whip and get it, that would be
Oh,
awesome. Do it.
okay, okay. Give me a sec.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so there was this was posted on some of the walls last night. Um every they said that this show spanned visited 23 cities spanning two provinces and into the US. Total of 4,067 people were on the Canadian crew making of the season. Uh,
Okay.
that's not any spoilers. That's not anything. Oh, there it is. I love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Everybody was just giving you so many compliments wearing that beauty. That was awesome. I'm glad you pulled that out and found it and wore it down there.
It was it was stuck in the deepest part of my closet, and I was just as I'm looking, I go, "Do I have any '70s gear?" And then I look and I go, "Oh, this is my somewhat Prince Purple Rain type outfit. Perfect, perfect."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a hit, man. It was awesome. It was great to see some people go full out. I think I would have tried to go a lot more on the theme if I wasn't going to the BC Lions game
I,
before,
yeah.
and I thought I would stick out like a sore thumb, and then I did see a guy there. He was wearing
Mhm.
a comic book suit that had comic book squares of Spider-Man and the Hulk and all
Oh
these
yeah.
ones. Have you ever seen that suit around?
I I know that was a first. That was a first. It was pretty unique.
Yeah, yeah. And there was yeah, just a lot of amazing outfits. Everybody really went full out for the theme, so that was a neat part. I loved it that we found out that there was an open bar about an hour into it and
Yeah.
realized, okay, all right, I guess we should have another drink or two here. And it's been a long time since I've had that many different types of alcohol all jammed into one night. I was pretty surprised that I haven't been feeling terrible all day. I thought kind of I might, but I actually felt actually pretty damn good today.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same, but yeah, it was it was fun. It was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. That's all I gotta say. It was a lot of fun.
When you feel bad, you just wake up and just, have one and then have two and then have three and just make sure that you don't quite, get down and sober up too much. I had a little bit of this and a little bit of that and made sure that I was going to feel pretty damn good all day.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's terrific. I had to go to work, but yes, that's good for you. Good for you.
So probably not a lot of work done on the day. The shooting crew's done, I guess, so they weren't
Yeah.
going into work today, but the rest of the crew,
Mhm.
3,000,
Yeah.
500 people, were
Yeah.
supposed to be at work today, but probably not a lot done today.
It's pretty quiet. Pretty quiet.
Yeah.
They're pretty quiet. There was some stuff that was obviously done, but still pretty quiet.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad we tore it up, had an absolute blast. It
Yeah.
was incredibly fun. Good to see. I was quite shocked though. Usually I go to wrap parties and I recognize people from many departments, and
Yes.
because of the scope and size of the show, like I probably knew 15 people out of 1,300. It was super
Yeah.
strange. Like,
Yeah.
it is so unique when it's this large. You just don't get an opportunity to meet so many people from so many different areas. I was on the majority of sets on the show. I was, there like right from the start before we even started shooting, and it felt very strange not recognizing very many people at all.
Same with me. Same with me. Like there was so many people on the show that you're just like, I have never seen you before. Or, for example, one of my friend that I did run into, as you remember, I had no idea she was even on the show. I did not like. I'm like, why are you here? She's like, no, I'm on the show. I'm like, you're what?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I ran into a girl and I didn't know she was on the show. She's been on the show right from the beginning too, and yeah, she never knew I was on the show. I didn't know she was. It's
Yeah.
just so strange. Yeah, very
Yeah.
bizarre. Yeah, it's yeah. I hope it comes back for another season here, and I hope we keep getting this type of large scope of shows too, because we've proved that we can do it if it's super popular as season one was. I could see it just snowballing, and big productions just keep coming back and back and back.
Uh, for sure. They should definitely be coming back. Like, I think if there's one thing that we've proven here in Hollywood North, we have incredibly talented people
Yeah.
that do
Okay.
fantastic, terrific stuff, and it shows on screen, obviously, and it just shows the hard work and the dedication and the sacrifice that we all put in to make this into what it is, which is a great TV show.
Yeah. Another highlight last night was the girls that were pouring champagne upside down. Never even thought that was a thing. Never knew that was a thing. That was pretty cool and neat. Pretty entertaining aspect of the evening.
No, that was unexpected. That's all I could say. It was totally unexpected. Where I'm like, I kind of looked over to the side and I was like, wait, what? I'm like, oh, I gotta try that. I gotta try some of that.
Yeah. I was trying to explain it to Lorraine, and I was saying it was basically what you see in a bird cage,
Yep.
where they were on, and then just up to the ceiling, and then back down to the floor, and then up to the
Yep.
ceiling, and back down to the floor, and
Yep.
she was just doing an amazing job. I think there was maybe two or three of them that were
No. Yeah.
alternating, and just
Yeah.
that was a wild aspect, and yeah, it was pretty neat addition to the night, but. Yeah, phenomenal. I'm glad I was able to, finally get you on this show. You've been, we haven't worked too much together,
And
unfortunately, on
yeah.
it, but I was so happy that you got on the show and then you could, see the grand scope of it. I was always trying to explain how massive it was to you, and then for, us to get to this wrap party, it was great. I haven't felt like part of the production because I've been gone for the last couple months, but Very nice that I was there. Very nice that we could go and have a blast.
Yeah, man. Like we do, like we've
Yeah.
always done. We've always have a good time when we go out together, and then just this one was special.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun, and it was great to see that everybody was great to see you. Like everybody was happy that you were there, happy to see you and stuff. And yeah,
Yeah, everybody was really nice and yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. Also, I was really happy to run into Caleb Starnes. I haven't seen him in a while. Funny enough, about 2 weeks ago, I got a message from Scott Holborn saying, "Hey, I just actually saw Caleb Starnes, and man, the guy looks huge. He looks so massive. He's been really, putting some size on, some muscle on." And yeah, out of the blue, boom, he walks in, and I got an opportunity to chat with him. I used to see tons of his fights. Went to a lot of the gyms where he trains guys at now. And yeah, I hadn't seen him in, it's probably been a couple years, I'd say at least. And that was really great. A guy that fought on the regional scene here. I saw him probably a dozen times or more fight. And then went to the UFC, had a UFC career, came back and stayed active for quite a few years after that. And now he's got a lot of guys that he's teaching and he's cornering and trying to get the next wave of BC guys into the UFC. So that was really cool.
very cool, very cool. And again, it just shows the immensity of how big this show is. Because
Yeah.
like, there's no way that you would have thought he's like, oh, you're here too as well. Good.
Yeah.
You
Neat.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a fun night, and so glad it went well. And yeah, one of the best rap parties I have been a part of. Big kudos to everyone that put that together.
Yes,
You guys deserve a
absolutely.
lot of big props. That was awesome. Yeah, just that's I'm sure a big undertaking. Trying to make that work and get that many people an invite and pull it all off. They sure did an amazing job.
They did an absolutely amazing job. Like it was just well coordinated, well done, well thought out. Just bravo. Bravo to everyone involved.
Um, I want to just make a short mention here. Just made aware today that one of the actors from The Godfather Part 2, Salvatore Saltesio was his name in The Godfather Part 2. He passed away today. His name is John Aprea. Was also a very popular character on the Full House sitcom.
Okay.
But yeah, he passed away at the age of 83 today. Godfather Part 2, probably considered one of the top 5 films of all time, maybe top 1 or 2. It's always been up on the lists of one of the greatest movies ever made. Must be incredible to be part of something like that. And obviously had a very, very lengthy career as well in movies and TV. Long life, 83 years old. But yeah, Godfather Part 2, one of my favorite movies I've ever watched.
One of my favorites as well. He's always going to be remembered for that role for sure, right? Like
Yeah.
he's part of like the movie landscape when you're part of a movie of that size, of that importance
Yeah.
to everybody that watched it.
The guy's name escapes me right now because this happened probably about 20 something years ago. But one day I was downtown in a nightclub bar, and we were sitting there, me and a buddy, and we looked over, and one of the guys from The Godfather was sitting at the bar there, and we were just like, "Holy crap!" And we went over and said hello, and we ended up sitting next to him and we talked for like I'd say a couple hours probably. And it was really cool and neat chatting about making that movie and all the things that he had done. And I don't know why the name escapes me right now, but yeah, that was pretty wild. I remember that. I'm gonna have to remind my friend about that. I'm sure we haven't mentioned it for years, but that was pretty wild to just look over and think, hey, do you think that's that guy? Yeah, it is. Holy crap. And he didn't play like a massive role, but, we recognized them and, yeah, we had an awesome chat.
No, that's cool. It's always cool when you see a person from like one of your favorite movies and then you see them in real life. You're like, oh my goodness, is that who I think it is?
Yeah.
And then they're giving with their time and they're able to talk to you for a little bit. Always cool.
Did I tell the Billy Idol story on the podcast last week?
I want to say I think you did.
Okay. All right.
You did.
Yeah. That was pretty neat to have him just walk in because we were on our way to see a concert and
Right.
we had seen him the night before. And the bartender said to us, "Oh, what show are you on your way to?" And I said, "Oh, Pink Floyd, Pink Floyd tribute band." And then I said, and he said, "Oh, what did you see last night?" And I said, "Oh, Billy Idol." And the other bartender goes, "Oh, Billy Idol, that's amazing. I didn't." He said something like, "I didn't realize he was still touring and stuff." I think he said, and
Yeah.
then I guess a bunch of them had been told that he was coming or whatever. So
Oh,
they were probably given like, don't ask for autographs, don't ask for
yeah.
pictures,
Yeah.
just leave him alone kind of thing. But all of a sudden, like I'd say 5, 10 minutes later after we had that conversation, Billy walks in the door, and I was like,
Wow.
oh my goodness, that's so great. I'm such a music lover. It's so great to go to concerts. I went to a concert this week heading in, or last week, I guess, heading into this podcast. I wanted to mention, I got to see Robert Plant, my favorite singer of all time. I think I actually wore my Robert Plant shirt and I said, "Oh, I'm putting this on just to see if I can get tickets." Well, ended up grabbing tickets and going. He has collaborated with a woman named Alison Krauss. And I was speaking with my dad today, and my dad had done a little research about it. I didn't realize Alison was 22 years younger than Robert. Robert's 75 now. Allison's at 53, and they've done this collaboration over the last few years. This is their second album that they're touring, and she has won 27 Grammy Awards, the second most of all time. Beyonce passed her recently, getting her 28th, but 27 Grammy Awards. She's been singing professionally, I think, since she was 14 years old. And it's an incredible collaboration between the greatest rock and roll singer of all time and the greatest bluegrass country singer of all time, combining their forces. And it was epic, amazing. What a show. And, when you're 75, there might not be too many chances to see my favorite singer again. So had to go and had an absolute incredible time. Great to see him as always, and so happy. It made my week for sure.
It's just awesome that he's still touring
Yeah.
at his age. Like, it's you're allowed to stop. You know what I mean? Like, you can stop if you really want to.
Yeah.
But it's cool that he has that great appreciation for his fan, that he's still doing it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. It was awesome. So yeah, okay, well, let's get into it. There was lots of sports as always, lots to talk about. One of the coolest things that's happening right now, it's just entering into its second week, is the Little League World Series. Love watching that. Love when Canada sends an entry, and especially when they send it from the lower mainland here. It was the Wally kids again. The Wally kids have been there, I think I heard 17 times over the history. It's amazing. Wally is one of the roughest areas in our country, really, one of the toughest areas of our country, but somehow they keep pumping out great ball players, and great to see them. They came into the tournament. They played a team from Asia Pacific. They got no hit, and beat first game 8-0. I'm like, uh-oh, this is going to be tough. Second game, they played Puerto Rico, and they were scuffling. They weren't scoring a few runs, and all of a sudden they started to hit. They scored 12 runs in one inning, and they won the game 12-5. I think it was the second most amount of runs ever in an inning in the Little League World Series, which has been around for, I think, 63 years, I saw. And very awesome to watch. Just every kid hit, every kid scored. In the Little League, all 12 kids on the roster hit, even if they're not playing. There's 9 kids in the field, and the other 3 even hit. So every kid hit, every kid scored, and the celebration was awesome. The parents, the Canadian fans, it was epic and super fun to watch.
No, that is fantastic to see. That's so cool. So cool that they scored that many runs and that every one of them contributed to that win. That's the coolest part of it.
Yeah. I ended up getting home late last night, as you know, flicked on the Yankees game, and the Yankees played the Tigers in Williamsport at one of the small stadiums where they have these Little League games. And the team came and watched the Little League players play, and then the Little Leaguers all got to go and watch the Major League players play. And there's some epic shots of the Canadian team watching Aaron Judge and Juan Soto and just like going crazy and just being like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing these guys live. Just the pure joy of seeing these little 11 and 12-year-old guys finally getting a chance to see their heroes on the live stage, great seats. And it was very cool. I love that baseball does this. And I love that the major leaguers really embrace it. They were signing autographs and taking pictures for hours and hours and hours with these kids. It was epic. It was so fun.
It's cool that they do that because they remember when they were kids.
Yeah.
And they had a chance to meet their heroes.
Yeah.
And that's just paying it forward. That's just giving it back, which is what they should do. And I'm just glad that they do that.
64 major leaguers have played in the Little League World Series, and very neat to see that these guys, were able to be there on that big stage, and then persevere and make it all the way into the majors. Some of the top guys that played in the Little League World Series and made the majors are Cody Bellinger, Jonathan Scope, Jerkson Profar, Todd Frazier, Jason Varitek, and 64 guys have ended up playing in that Little League World Series. And Canada unfortunately lost their third game against Mexico and were eliminated, but big props to Wally. You got to play in your regional, then you got to play in the district, then you got to play in the province, then you got to play nationally. And to make it there, it's tough. Our team, when I was in Little League World Series, advanced pretty far. We had a really good chance to make it, never did. But big props to Wally, keeps pumping out these great teams. BC has produced the most Canadian entrants into the Little League World Series from Canada. The baseball's hot here, great hotbed, and a lot more little leaguers, and obviously a lot more major leaguers too.
Yeah, and it is just cool to see that we continue to have success within the realm of baseball and continue making great players.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. There's been a bunch of moves in the last few days in the NHL. It's been kind of crazy. It seems like all the NHL general managers took a holiday, went to their cottages, took their trips with their families, took off. It was very, very quiet for a while. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. There's been a bunch of moves in the last couple of days. The biggest move today was Patrick Laine was traded from the Columbus Blue Jackets to the Montreal Canadiens. Laine is one of the he started off his career incredibly well. One of the top Finnish players to ever play in the NHL. He was drafted by the Winnipeg Jets, and came out like a ball of fury. You were like, wow, look at this guy. First season, he scored 36 goals and was second in the rookie race for the best rookie of the year, the Calder Trophy, they call it, behind Austin Matthews. Second year, he scored 44 goals, I think it was, and had an absolutely phenomenal year. And you're like, whoa, this guy is a sniper beyond belief. He actually scored the third most goals ever by a teenage player, even surpassing Wayne Gretzky. So the guy that scored the most goals ever as a teenager was a guy named Jimmy Carson, most known for playing with the LA Kings. Dale Hawerchuk, who also played with the Winnipeg Jets. Jimmy scored 92, Dale Hawerchuk second with 85. Patrick Laine, a third on the list with 80 goals as a teenager in the NHL. Wayne Gretzky and Brian Bellows are next with 76 each. Sidney Crosby, 75, and Steve Yzerman, 69. So incredible company that he is on that list. Amazing start to his career.
Oh, absolutely amazing. Because like that's a who's who on that list, and he is, that good.
Yeah. So he played about parts of about 5 seasons in Winnipeg, and then things started souring. Something went wrong, wasn't getting along. They decided to ship him out. In Columbus, Trotz was there, and he was fighting with one of their star players, Pierre-Luc Dubois. And Dubois and Laine were drafted back-to-back, same year, same draft. And so they traded Laine to Columbus and Dubois to Winnipeg. Soon as Laine got to Winnipeg, guess what?
What happened?
He fought with Trotz. And Trotz was being an absolute jerk, as he's always is. And they had a huge fight. They had a massive fight. Not the same kind of fight that we saw Trotz have against Calgary in the dressing room trying to get in there, but verbal altercation on the bench. Trotz was yelling at him. Laine was telling him F off, F you. And they were going back and forth. And all of a sudden, Laine's production started going down. And he had a pretty bad first year. I think he scored only 10 goals. And all of a sudden, he started really not scoring much, and just battled with Trotz for so long in that place that he finally soured on it and said, no, trade me, get me out of here. I don't want to be here anymore. They finally granted his request and have traded him to Montreal. He's going to play with some fantastic players. Columbus believed in him so much that in 2022, they signed him to a 4-year extension, $8.7 million a year. Great AAV there. And I think he's going to resurrect his career. I think he's going to score 40 goals a game. And I think this is going to change him. He's only 26 years old. He's been in the NHL for about 9 seasons, I think it is now. And so, yeah, this was a great move for him. I think for Montreal, and I think it was something that should have been done a while back.
Yeah, I think so too, because like when you have that conflict between a player and a coach, and it's pretty much irreconcilable, you kiss, it's not going to ever work. One of them has to move on. Somebody has to go. And I'm glad to see that he left that toxic situation, which I believe it was probably super toxic. And I believe you're correct. He's gonna resurrect his career.
Yeah, I'm excited. 26 years old, really has an amazing shot, and yeah, he's a guy that I really cheer for. He actually was in the player assistance program up until just I think it was like 2 weeks ago. He said he was having some serious mental health issues, needed to address it, asked the NHL if he could please enter their assistance program and get some help with it. They just said he finished the program on July 26th, and this trade was consummated today. So hopefully he's been able to address that mental health and get a new start, new lease on life. I think the Montreal fans are going to love him. And I think this is just going to be something that we look back years from now and say, wow, I really am so happy that that finally was made. And all of a sudden, this guy's career just took a big resurgence. And we're going to be all very, very happy that this was done.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the fans are going to be happy. I think the Montreal Canadian fans are going to be exceptionally happy.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get this stud of a player who's literally going to resurrect his career.
Yeah. The Canucks made a very controversial move over the weekend. They traded their Russian forward Vasily Podkolzin to Edmonton for only a 4th-round pick. Pretty bizarre. I think everybody thought, oh, he should garner more than that. I don't know why this was made. He has struggled a little bit. He's been up and down with Abbotsford to Vancouver, back and forth. But still a young guy, a lot of promise there. Really was, I think everybody was like, hey, 4th-round pick, that's it. That's weird, strange, and didn't make sense.
Yeah, that is odd because you would think that they should have gotten more for him. At the same time, though, I wonder if they were worried about not being able to pay him what he was worth when his contract came up. Maybe that's why they made the move.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you speak about the money. The Edmonton Oilers have been trying to make some moves because St. Louis Blues swooped in about a week and a half ago and signed 2 of their restricted free agents to offer sheets. And they tried to steal 2 of the guys off the Oilers roster. Made the Oilers brass very, very angry. They were trying to get them in a lot less, pay them a lot less. St. Louis said, okay, no, we would like this good guy and this good guy, and we're going to try to take them from you. And so they offered Phillip Broberg $4.5 million a year on a 2-year deal, and Dylan Holloway $2.3 million a year on a 2-year deal there. Broberg and Holloway both had really good playoffs, good ends of the season last year, good playoffs, and really proved that these guys are some up-and-comers. Oilers have until tomorrow to match the offers, or they will be St. Louis Blues as of tomorrow. They have traded a guy this weekend, Cody Ceci, that took $3.2 million off their books. Took in a prospect from them too, and they're trying to make some money work and try to figure this out. And I don't know what's going to happen. There's some rumors that Broberg doesn't want to play with them anymore, and he will be gone. He's the most valuable piece out of the 2. But we'll see. Can't wait for tomorrow and see what the Oilers decide to do. If they let them go to St. Louis, St. Louis will have to send a 2nd-round pick for Broberg and a 3rd-round pick for Holloway.
Okay. Well, it sounds like Broberg is gone. Like if he doesn't want to be there, they're definitely going to let him go. But still sucks when another team does that, takes your good guys, and you're just like, oh, now I gotta pay them.
Yeah. It's kind of been a unwritten rule in the NHL that you don't kind of screw the other teams by doing this, and they kind of felt like it was dirty, underhanded kind of a tactic. But I don't know, all's fair, right? Hey, you should have signed that guy a while back. You shouldn't have let him get to this restricted free agency. Hey, and I knew I think a lot of teams knew that Edmonton was going to be starting to go really tight to the cap because they had that great run. A lot of guys are going to ask for more money, and it's probably pretty smart of St. Louis to do what they did.
I think so. All's fair in love and war, and if you're not trying, you're not trying. You know what I mean? Like, so for them to try to scoop those guys, clearly they have a need that those guys fill. Yeah, that's what you got to do.
That's what you got to do. Okay, so I told you earlier that I went to the BC Lions game on my way to the wrap party. Really just wish I didn't go, but Lions did a very smart move by getting Nathan Rourke back. He was gone for 18 months, chasing his NFL dream. Got up, didn't really get opportunities. Got signed to 4 different teams over those 18 months. Had minimal looks in the preseason, and finally just decided to pull the chute. Re-sign with BC. Signed for the rest of this year and the next 2 years. He's going to get $250,000 for the rest of this year, half the season. $600,000 each year for the next 2 years. He does have some out clauses that will allow him to go back to the NFL, I think, if he does get a legitimate offer. I think it was very, very smart to bring him back. He struggled yesterday, but I suspected that he would. I thought he would be rusty. It's very hard to come in, get a couple practices, and suddenly be flung right out there. I think it was just a little bit unfair. He apologized heavily after the game. He said, I apologize to my fans. I apologize to the team. I apologize to everyone. I'm sorry that I didn't have a good performance. This is all on me, and I'm going to try so hard to get myself ready and have a much better coming week. And they play Ottawa coming up. But yeah, it was rough. He didn't play well. The team didn't play well. They're on a 4 game losing streak now. They're down in second place. The Western Conference is kind of crazy. Nobody's really doing very well there, but yeah, I felt bad for the guy, kind of thrown to the wolves that quickly.
Yeah, definitely thrown to the wolves. Like he's trying to come in, learn the offense, and just have everything good to go, ready to go within just a couple of days, a week of practice. It's just not going to happen. No. And then plus on top of that, like you said, he hasn't even been getting any reps in the NFL at all. Yeah. So it's going to take a while for him to come back online, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing I noticed with him is he just seemed like he was hesitant. He just seemed like he was looking down the receiver too long instead of looking off and then going to his, target. He could have been picked off 4 or 5 times. If the receiver had a bit better hand, or the corner or safety had a bit better hands, he would have been picked off. He did get picked off twice, but there was just a hesitancy and just not that looking off that you need to, because these guys are fast. These guys, have the ability to get in front of the ball and knock it down or pick it off. So I'm happy that he'll get a full week of practice. It is a bit of a short week because they play Saturday coming up against Ottawa in Ottawa, but he'll definitely have a better showing next week.
Yeah, I'm hoping so, and I believe he will. Once he gets more practices under his belt and gets more familiar with the offense, these things should rectify themselves.
Yeah. It was disappointing. Winnipeg actually has really had their number and had a horrible start to the year. They're on a 3-game winning streak. The Bombers shut out the Lions 25-0 and had them shut out for the first 3 quarters of this one. So 7 quarters in a row shutting them out. I was like, oh my God, what the hell? But Vernon Adams is supposedly about 2 weeks away from being able to play. He's still dealing with his knee injury. They don't think he'll be active for this coming game, but he should be active for the following game. They play Ottawa in Ottawa, and then they play Ottawa the following week in Victoria. And we're trying to get tickets and head over to Victoria and watch the game from there. It's from a small little stadium called Royal Athletic Park. I don't even know how much it will hold. They're probably just going to put in temporary bleachers and seats and stuff. But so back-to-back against Ottawa, which is kind of be cool as well for him because, he can prepare for the same team 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be better prepared too because, again, like you said, same team.
And that's his hometown, Victoria. That's where he was born. So that's kind of neat. That's going to be fun. His family, his friends, a lot of people that he knows from over there will be there.
Yeah, no, that would be good for him because then he'll be in some friendly confines
Yeah.
with like real fans, his family cheering him on.
Yeah. Also big news from the NFL today. Austin Mack was playing with Nathan Rourke on Atlanta. Austin was trying his luck to try to get an NFL job this offseason. He was the fifth leading receiver in the CFL last year, had 1,154 yards receiving. Went down, got into Falcons training camp, got a couple of looks, got cut today, has re-signed with Montreal, and Montreal, the rich get richer. Montreal's 9-1 this season, and they're getting back one of their top weapons. That was tough to see, but yeah, these NFL castoffs, yeah, getting scooped back up by these CFL teams that have seen them before.
Yeah, and it's smart. It's smart, man. Like obviously he's a real talent. Not talented enough to make the squad down there, but then to make it into NFL, you got to be the best of the best.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So.
Totally. Yeah. Okay, speaking of NFL, Jaden Daniels today was named the starting QB for the Washington Commanders over the veteran Marcus Mariota. He was drafted second overall in the 2024 draft, and Dan Quinn came out today and said, yeah, I've seen enough. He's my man. I needed a few weeks to check him out, see how he was going to perform, how he was going to be with the team, with everything, and I'm super confident he's our guy. We're sticking with him going forward, and yeah, pretty amazing. We're gonna get to see some of these rookie quarterbacks that were drafted really, really high in this draft be the starting quarterback right out the gate,
which is great. That's exactly what I want to see because
yeah.
if you draft them that high, well, eventually you're going to have to give them the keys to the car at some point in time. Might as well give it to them right now.
Yeah. Speaking of quarterbacks, Justin Herbert was back at practice today. Super great news for Chargers fans out there. He had been off about 2.5 weeks with a foot injury. Glad it's not super serious. And they said today he's expected to be ready for week 1 against the Raiders.
Excellent news because the Chargers, they need their starting quarterback. They need Justin Herbert, period.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Massive amount of injuries in Buffalo. There's a list. It's brutal.
Okay.
So their backup quarterback, Mitch Trubisky, will miss multiple weeks with a knee injury. They've decided to sign another backup quarterback, Anthony Brown, to fit his place. They got really horrible news about their wide receiver, Curtis Samuel. They signed him to a free agent deal in the offseason, 3 years, $24 million. He has a severe case of turf toe that they said is going to be lingering likely the rest of the season. He will be week to week. They also lost Marquez Valdez-Scantling with a really bad neck injury. He's listed week to week, but they don't think he's going to be ready for the start of the season. They lost their tight end Quentin Morris to a shoulder injury week to week. 2 of their top defensive players, DeMar Hamlin, we know him. He has a what does he have? Severe hamstring injury. And then Balin Spencer, their linebacker, has a calf injury. And there was more and more and more and more. Like unbelievable. Just decimated on both sides of the ball. This is insane what's happened to Buffalo this preseason here.
That is just bad news. Bad news for Buffalo fans that they just got hit that hard. Yeah. So many injuries. That's horrible.
Yeah, brutal. There's a hell of a lot of Buffalo Bills fans, especially our Ontario people that watch this show. That's always been most of their favorite team. And yeah, I feel for you guys. This is rough way of the preseason. I want to see I want to see the starters. I want to see the guys that are going to be on the field, but this is one of the reasons why we don't really see very many of them in the preseason.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Because like the risk is too much sometimes for them to even go out there because you want them for the regular season. Preseason's only supposed to be just a tune-up. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. One note today, Colt McCoy has officially announced his retirement. He said he has signed a multi-year deal with NBC to be their Big Ten football analyst. Colt had a 12-year career over 14 years, a 12-season career over 14 years. He made about $28 million, and he saw the field 36 times. So almost $1 million per game over those 12 years. I would have taken that in a heartbeat if somebody said, sign your name here. Really kind of was stymied by getting drafted by the Cleveland Browns. And you know how many great quarterbacks coming out of college went there and fizzled out time after time after time. Never really got another shot with many of the other organizations after a tough beginning, but just held the clipboard, made 28 million bucks, and now he's off to this great cushy job with NBC.
Perennial backup, but that's not bad.
Yeah.
You know, like he lasted in the league for over a decade, and not many players can actually say that. So, and also too, hey, it had a happy ending. He's got a great cushy job doing Big Ten broadcast. So good for him.
His college career with Texas was phenomenal.
Ridiculous.
You can't even believe how many awards the guy won, how prolific of a passer he was. Coming out of college, this seemed like a can't miss guy. Very athletic family. A lot of his brothers, father, grandfather, everyone in his family very athletic, and you're shocked to see a can't miss guy. We're talking just a few minutes ago about all these guys coming out of this 2024 draft getting these opportunities. I'm shocked that Colt McCoy didn't have a super prolific NFL career.
Sometimes when you think it's a can't miss hit and it just misses.
Yeah.
Still.
Shocking. It's mind-blowing. I want to really super quick just this is what I wanted to read off this. So there's a section on Wikipedia about him, his career highlights and awards. In 2009, his last year of college, he won the Maxwell Award, the Davey O'Brien Award, the Manning Award, the Chick Harley Award, the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, the Quarterback of the Year, the Walter Camp Award, and the Southwest College Athlete of the Year, the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, a unanimous All-American, first team All Big 12, and he got his number retired by the Texas Longhorns. That is unbelievable how many accolades and awards the guy wins in his final year of college. Stunning, unbelievable.
Like, I think he won every award that you could win as a quarterback in college. Like, I think you just listed off every award that you could possibly win. He won them all.
Insane. Yeah, insane. It's going to be great. There has been some sightings so far of Tom Brady in the booth now, and man, I can't wait. We get Colt McCoy doing analyst of college games, and we get Tom Brady being the analyst for NFL games this year. This is going to be phenomenal.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but what is he bumping? Is he bumping Greg Olsen, who, by the way, is absolutely fantastic?
Greg
that guy is amazing, amazing. So I've heard a little bit of Tom's thing. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's gonna be so
like he's pretty good. Like I was like, okay, you're bumping Greg Olsen, who's absolutely awesome, but man, you're pretty good. He's pretty good, man.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Bill Belichick, but he was on Pat McAfee today, and that's another guy that's going to be suddenly providing his analysis on the the desk there. And yeah, it's very cool to hear from both these guys. The greatest coach of all time, arguably, and no argument, the greatest NFL player of all time. Both of them now providing insight, and we're going to hear some incredible stories from both these guys a lot this year. It's going to be amazing.
When Bill Belichick actually has to go on the mic and be engaging, he's incredibly engaging.
Yeah.
Like to the point where you're just like, is it two different guys?
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing.
I know.
I'm shocked sometimes.
Yeah, me too. It's unreal. You're like, he's the guy that said, "Yeah, we're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati." He was just being a dick so often that what the hell? And then you suddenly realize that it's great to hear him talk, and great to hear a lot of the things he has to say. It's unreal.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a guy that does a podcast. Is Edelman. Edelman has great stories about Bill Belichick. Great, like, just awesome stories where you're just like, he's actually pretty funny. He's actually pretty funny. Like, but these are the things that you don't know. You only just see him when he's up on the podium, and he's just like, doesn't even want to be there.
Yeah, I just wish that he wouldn't have been that way, because it was just annoying. Like, you just didn't want to tune in, because it was just like, well, you just wasted my time. You're just being a dick. And I just really wanted to hear some great insight from a guy that had so much success, but he just was such a closed book, and it was just painful.
Yeah, absolutely painful. But if he gets into that booth and he starts talking, you know what? I'm definitely going to listen, because he's good. He's really good.
There was this crazy story today that came out about Tua and his relationship with Brian Flores. Did you hear any of that?
Saw that.
Yeah.
Toxic.
Very crazy toxic. Hey, I didn't know that. This caught me off guard. I have a lot of respect for Brian Flores, and all, especially the fight that he put up, after, he felt racially judged, and, losing the opportunity at employment. I have a lot of respect for a guy that's going to be willing to fight for, his rights and everything. But it's crazy what Tua said. And I don't, I never take somebody's total side and think, oh yeah, they're going to be the one that I think is being 100% truthful. But pretty amazing that he was that candid and talked about how toxic the environment was when Flores was his coach.
I found it a little bit amazing that Flores didn't have his back. He didn't even want him as his number one quarterback.
No.
And you're like, when you hear that, you're just like, wait, what? But he is your number one quarterback. You guys are supposed to somehow make it all work and coexist. And that was not happening between those two at all.
Pretty wild. Yeah. I'm glad that Mike McDaniel went there and resurrected, his career in a sense, and was able to build the team around him. And wow, ever since McDaniel's been there, that's a kind of a match made in heaven. So I maybe it needed to happen the way it did. I don't know, but pretty wild.
Yeah, no, I think it did. I think things happen for a reason, and definitely Tua's in a better place, because now he's got a coach that actually believes in him, as opposed to the other thing.
Yeah. Okay, just a couple more notes before we talk about the UFC. The PGA playoffs kicked off this last weekend in Memphis, the FedEx St. Jude Classic, it's called. And Hideki Matsuyama from Japan roared out to a 5-shot lead after the third round. One of the biggest leads of the year heading into the fourth round. And he seemed like he had this tournament in the bag. And then all of a sudden, it came off the rails. He started struggling. He started hitting it wild. He was chili dipping chips, and he was having some troubles out there. And you thought, holy cow, he's gonna blow this. And suddenly he came to 17, got a birdie, came to 18, got a birdie, won by 2. Just was like, oh yeah, that was no problem. It was just holy cow, it was bizarre to watch. The guys were all chasing him, and you thought, oh, he's got this no problem. And it was a struggle, but he ended up winning it and put himself really in a good position heading into the last 2 weeks of the playoffs.
Good. Like you look at, sometimes you see a golfer and you see the wheels fall off, and it's like, oh man, he's falling apart for our eyes. Don't think he's going to be able to rescue it, but then he did.
He did,
which has got to be really hard to do. Really hard thing to do.
Especially because he didn't have his normal caddy, guy that's caddied for him for a long time. They left France on their way to the US, and they got robbed in London. His caddy, whoever robbed them, took whatever he took, had his passport in it, and he couldn't travel to the US. He had to go back to Japan. And so Hideki had to get another guy to caddy for him, because this guy had to be back in Japan, didn't have a passport.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's gotta suck. That's gotta suck. And that's totally gonna throw off your mindset, right? As you're going into play. Oh yeah.
Big time. Crazy, yeah. So yeah, he was 17 under for the tournament. 2 shots back were Xander Schauffele, 15 under, and last year's winner of the FedEx Cup playoffs, Victor Hovland. They've both finished at 15 under, tied for second. And good old Scotty Scheffler, 14 under, was 4th in the tournament. He still leads the FedEx Cup playoffs, has a massive lead, still way up there. He's first, Schauffele second, and I think Matsuyama now has jumped into third. I think I made some note here, but I can't see it. But I think he's third now because he won that. And they have one more week. They head to this place called Colorado Springs for the second tournament. And then they head to East Lake for the final tournament. The top 50 guys, they had 70 going into this tournament. The top 50 make this week. The top 30 make the Tour Championship. Those top 50 guys that made it into this week are all now eligible for these 8 specialty tournaments that the PGA has put on since LIV has come on. And these top 50 guys, just for getting in here, I bet you it made them all probably between like $5 million and about $15 million, just because you hit that top 50 because of all these tournaments that you're now eligible for. There's no cuts. Everybody gets paid. And it's just crazy how much money now, since LIV has come in, how much money even now all these PGA Tour guys can be guaranteed when you hit that top 50.
That's amazing. Because, like it almost begs to ask the questions like, well, where was all this money before?
I know.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like you could pay them now, but you couldn't before. Either way, all the golfers are in a good place because of.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. 2 Canadians have made it into the top 50 play this week. Corey Connors and Taylor Pendrith, both are in. A couple of the other Canadians had some tough weekends and fell out of it. Mackenzie Hughes didn't make it. Adam Hadwin didn't make it. Nick Taylor didn't make it. It's really unfortunate because those guys were trying to get on this President's Cup team that's happening in Montreal in September. And Mike Weir is the captain for it, and he's now in a bit of a tough spot. He really wanted to pick about 4 Canadians. They aren't eligible for those top 6 automatic qualifiers. He's got another 6 captain's picks, they're called, and maybe we're only seeing 2. Most Canadians want to see about 3 or 4 definitely here on our home soil, but this is putting Mike Weir in a little bit of a tough spot.
Sucks. It sucks because like you want to have as many Canadians as possible on the team, clearly, but you can only do so much.
Yeah, exactly. We mentioned Liv. Liv had their penultimate tournament this past weekend. Just one more week left before they are in their final playoffs. Brooks Koepka outlasted John Rahm, beat him in a playoff at the Greenbrier, and looks good heading into the final weekend. They play, actually, their last tournament isn't for a few weeks, almost a month, it looks like. It's in Chicago at the Bolingbrook Golf Course, September 13th to 15th. And then their team championship, the whole shebang, happens a week later in Dallas, Texas, September 20th to 22nd. So, yeah. That is the story outside of the UFC. So let's get into UFC 305 talk. We had another one of those cards we talked about where it was good for our time, not so good for their time. I felt like it affected a few of the fighters for sure. And this stands out. This is the thing that stands out to me when I think about this card is the city kickboxing guys that come from Auckland, New Zealand, some of the best in the world. They had an opportunity to win the last 3 fights, and it was going according to plan. It looked so great. Dan Hooker, an amazing performance, getting fight of the night against Mateus Gamrot, who's tough as nails, wins. Then Kai Kara France comes out. This little Maori that is a flyweight that's not supposed to knock out guys, gets his 13th KO, gets the victory. And you think, oh my God, this is going so perfect. And all of a sudden, Israel Adesanya, 4th round, really starting to beat up Dricus, getting the good possibility that he's winning his belt back for a 3rd time. And you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then makes a mistake, gets knocked down, falls onto the ground, gives up his back, boom, a choke gets sunk in, he taps, and it's over. And I felt so sad for that city kickboxing team that just was like, oh my God, everything's perfectly aligning. And one mistake, Dricus lands a shot, knocks him down, fight's over. Crazy.
He had all the momentum going his way.
Yeah.
Like literally at that point in time, the momentum was going his way.
Yeah.
And I think it all turned when Dricus landed a leap, because like he leaps in with his shots, right?
Yeah.
And he landed that leaping in left hook that caught him.
Yeah.
And then that kind of staggered Izzy a bit. He didn't look bad.
No.
But I think as he was trying to backpedal, he stumbled a bit. Dricus landed a couple more punches to the side of his head. He fell down, and then it was over. And almost like, just like it's just that close with all of these guys. It's that close.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's one of the beauties of the sport. But it's also cruel as hell. You know, you're like, there. You've put in your blood, sweat, and tears into the training camp. You've turned the tide. Dricus looked really good early, but you could tell he was getting tired. You could tell that Adesanya's movements were causing him a lot of trouble. His length, he was keeping him at distance. He was picking him apart. He was landing a lot of shots, way more shots than Dricus was landing. He was he looked like he had figured him out. It looked like he had understood what it took to beat him. And then bam, it just turned like that. And all of a sudden he's having to, fight to get another opportunity. That was, I believe I heard that was his 12th or 13th straight title fight, which is pretty insane. I think I'm kind of leaning towards, immediate rematch, but all of a sudden now Sean Strickland's thrown into the mix and people are talking about him a lot. I think that's where you're kind of going to go, where you think Strickland deserves this shot, and then they kind of just do this ring around the rosy between the 3 of them.
Yeah, and also too, you can't forget Robert Whittaker's in there too as well.
Sure.
Like so you got like these 4 guys right now that are literally if you make a mistake in one of these upper echelon fights and these championship fights, that's it.
Yeah.
You lose, right?
Yeah.
And it's so close between all of those guys. All of those guys are just that incredibly skilled that if you make a mistake, because Izzy had great game plan.
Yeah.
He went to the body. He invested in beating up Dracus's body, and it was working.
Yeah.
Because you could tell that Dracus was slowing down round after round after round. Like him leaping in to get his shots in looked a little bit more labored every round going forward. But then, you know what? He got caught, and then that was it. That's all it takes.
Yeah. You think that a trainer and a fighter would be able to figure out Dricus, leaping like that? It can't be good for being balanced. It can't be good for being in a spot where a guy can hit you with an uppercut, hit with a knee. There's to me, it shouldn't work, but it has, and it does, and it's bizarre. It's crazy that he's the champ. And defended his belt, and maybe could have a reign here, and it's not supposed to work, but it has.
Yeah, absolutely, it's not supposed to work, and you can see that he's got vulnerabilities all over the place, but you still got to beat the guy, right?
Yeah.
And it's hey, hats off to him, because like he was on his way to losing that fight.
Yeah,
he was clearly on his way to losing that.
There was a ton of bad blood going into this, especially because Adesanya took offense to him saying, I'm the real African, and that kind of thing. It was immediately, I was quite surprised. Immediately, sportsmanship and congratulations and praise from both guys. I wasn't expecting that.
You know what? They fought. I think they earned each other's respect.
Yeah.
It was over after that. Like all the lead up, the bad blood. That's also to market the fight. Let's not kid ourselves, right? Yeah. But also too, I think there's clearly tremendous respect between both men, and they showed it.
So you want Strickland next? You know who I want? Guess who I want?
Who do you want? I don't know. Who?
Did you hear who threw their hat in the ring just before the broadcast ended?
Pouton.
Yeah, Pouton. Yeah. Pereira said, "Hey, I'm coming back. I'm coming back down. I want to take you on," and that would be amazing. Why not?
The only thing with Pouton is, can he make the weight again? Because I know it was a difficult weight cut. He did it, but I know it's a very difficult weight cut for him to do that. Yeah. And I think since he's like, well, they won't let me go up to heavyweight and fight, so I'm just going to go back down and then take that belt again. Like, I think that's basically what he thought to himself. It's like, you're not going to let me fight at heavyweight? Fine. I'll just go back and I'll take this belt again. Yeah.
So why not let him?
Yeah. I think they'll give it serious consideration. Although I think Dana's already said Strickland gets the next shot. So after that shot, then he might entertain it, that where Pereira comes back down and, takes that belt.
Yeah. If he can, if he can figure out the nutrition aspect of it and can, come in healthy enough to make that weight and fight, I would hand the belt to him pretty much. It would be, to me, a no-brainer, but I'm not a fan of Strickland, never have been. So I don't want him in this mix, and I would like it to be somebody else. I guess unfortunately Adesanya, might not be in their minds as an immediate rematch, but I would sign up for that too.
I would too, because it was a great fight and it was super close. Yeah. And if Adesanya doesn't get caught with that left hook, then he wins that fight. I believe he wins that fight.
Yeah. I think they've got Pereira fighting Khalil Roundtree next, though, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Dude, I will say this right now. I love that matchup. Yeah. I absolutely love that, because those are both two real killers.
Yeah.
that you're putting in there together, and they both got power for days, I'm pretty sure somebody's getting knocked out. Like that is not going 5 rounds.
No.
You know what? I guarantee that fight is not going 5 rounds.
Nice. You got the Charles Barkley guarantee.
I get it. No, I'm serious, man. That's
Right.
gonna be a great fight. I
Yeah.
love the matchup. As soon as I heard it, I was like, definitely watching that.
That's UFC 307 Salt Lake. I believe that's October. So
Yeah.
a little bit to wait, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the co-main event.
Yep.
Flyweights. You remember Dana White just saying, we're considering getting rid of the flyweight division. Let's just there's no exciting fights. There's no knockouts here. How does Kai Kara France knock this many guys out? He has had his ups and downs. His record isn't stellar, but he knocks guys out and has for his entire career. It's incredible. A lot of people were saying that Astro Boy Urseg was, on this meteoric rise, especially having a good performance against Pantoja in the title fight recently. But no, Kai Kara France keeps knocking guys out and proving that he's a bad man at 125.
Oh, yeah, he is a bad man. That overhand left hook that he landed, absolutely, like that decimated Urseg. Decimated.
Yeah.
To the point, like, Ursig doesn't get caught with punches like that. And that's what amazed me, that Kai Kara France landed that shot.
Yeah.
Because Ursig usually never gets hit with shots like that. And when he detonated on him, I'm like, oh, okay, so the fight's over. Like,
yeah.
It's over, man. And then he landed one more right, and then done.
Yeah. Nice to see him get a bonus, 50K performance bonus, and well-deserved. This is a guy that his nickname suits him so well. Don't blink. Hell of a nickname. Whoever came up with that deserves 50K bonus for that. That is a very cool nickname for a guy that you wouldn't think, you got to watch that closely because there's KOs are coming.
Yeah, exactly. Like little guys aren't supposed to have that much power, but that dude does. And yeah, great fight. Great fight.
Okay. As I mentioned earlier, Matthias Gamrot, Dan Hooker, what a fight. Awesome fight. Got fight of the night. They both got 50K bonuses. Gamrot is a guy that not many guys want to face. He comes in number 5 on a 7-fight winning streak and just tearing apart killer after killer. He was a -410 favorite going into this one. Hooker was the +300 underdog, and Hooker's record isn't stellar as well, same as Kai Kara France, but you cannot measure how tough Dan Hooker is, the size of his heart, the willingness to go into the fire and just drop down and throw down with anybody. Amazing. I love it. Love Hooker. This even puts him 2-3 notches above on one of those legendary lists, and awesome fight. I loved it, and it was so fun to watch.
It was a great fight, man. Like it was just 2 men, 2 tacticians really testing each other's limits.
Yeah.
To the limit. And I loved Hooker's approach to this fight, which was, I am going to get taken down. I just need to figure out how to get back to my feet.
Yeah.
Never accepted the position of being taken down. Used the guillotine, the thread of the guillotine choke numerous times so that he could get up. Used it as a defensive measure. And then also, too, as soon as he got up, whenever Gamrot took him down, immediate pressure.
Yeah.
Put the pressure on Gamrot immediately. And I thought to myself, I'm like, that's the key to winning. But man, was it brutal. Like that was such a brutal way to fight, but that was the way that he had to fight to win that fight.
Great game plan. You got to just take your hat off to Eugene Berriman and that city kickboxing team. They have just produced so many amazing fighters out of that camp. And you know, I just can't wait for more guys to come from there and emerge into the UFC. It's spectacular that there's that amazing of a camp from Auckland, New Zealand. You know, on the other side of the planet from here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like those guys understand tactics, they understand game plan, and they understand who their fighters are, right? And they put them in positions to win that fight because, let's be honest, man, that was probably, that might have been one of Hooker's hardest fights he's ever had in his career.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah,
Oh.
definitely. I figured it was going to be tough as hell, and he would have to just come up with an incredible performance to win, and he did. And yeah, my hats off to him, to his whole team. I really wish for them they could have got Adesanya winning too. It would have just been a perfect night.
It would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, talk about the heavyweight battle between Tai Tuivasa and Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Bam Bam is on a slide, and I don't know if it's going to stop. He needs to be in better shape, and he needs to throw straight punches instead of these winging, constantly trying to KO with every shot. He's not landing those KO shots, and he's getting, you know, beat himself. And he probably won't learn, but you know, it's tough to see a guy with that much power, that much promise, but just keeps falling short fight after fight after fight.
And also too, in this fight, Rozenstruik basically fought this fight at the distance he wanted to fight the fight at.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And he was incredibly efficient with his strikes, his movement. Yeah, like he was just by far and away the superior, more efficient fighter.
Yeah,
for sure. Now, I do want to mention this. The judge that voted had the fight for Tuivasa. I'm like, that's so egregious. You can't do that. Like, what is he doing? He's drunk? Like, what is going on? Was he at the party last night? I don't think so. Anyways, what I did love was that they removed him.
Yeah, kicked him off.
Removed him. I didn't even know they could do that.
That's awesome.
I was surprised. I was like, they can do that? They should do that more often.
Oh, I know.
They have
judges
that do that.
Yeah.
Boom, you're out.
Oh, big time. You know, I was talking with my dad today, and you know, I said the same thing. Like, it was really great to see them take immediate action. You know, they were just like, what the hell, man? That is no chance a legitimate scorecard you just handed in. So sorry, but take a seat in the bleachers because you're not doing your job here anymore. And you know, they should be doing that a lot because we're seeing controversial, crazy judges scorecards coming. I was saying to my dad that you know, Perth isn't a place that the UFC goes very much. We haven't been there, and you know, I think it's about half a dozen years, maybe more. So these judges, these referees, these people in the athletic commission, they're not getting constant you know, fights to judge, fights to referee, fights to be close to. I don't know what the regional circuit scene is around there and how often, but Howie Booth is his name. I don't want to see you again unless you go to some serious mixed martial arts school and learn how to judge properly, because that was horrible, not cool. And I'm so happy that they took immediate action and took him off. I think he was supposed to be on the co-main. Was that right? I think I heard co-main. Yeah. And see you later. Off the card altogether. And I wasn't aware they could make that move that fast, though. That was incredible.
No, that was awesome to see. Yeah. And now that I know that you can do it, continue to keep doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If judges have awful cards where you're like, there is no way that you could have seen the fight like that. You can't score the fight like that. And if that happens, do that.
Yeah.
I wish they would do it more often. I really do.
Yeah. You know, I hate a lot of split decisions. You know, it bugs me because I'm like, what the hell? Why did that guy see that? And why did these two guys see that? And you know, it usually bothers me. That Gamrot Hooker fight was a split decision. Didn't love it, but it was okay. It was pretty damn close between these two. But that one was just far and away, just nowhere in the ballpark. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's just like, wow, okay, sorry, buddy. No, you're not qualified, you're not prepared, you're not good enough to be doing this. And I think a lot of them come from the boxing world.
Yeah.
Maybe he saw something different that you would change in the boxing, but no, it was so crazy and brutal that I'm glad he got removed. The first fight of the main card also got a 50K bonus for Carlos Prates. Really nice victory over Liang the Leech. Nice to see the Nightmare get a great win and 50K for his troubles.
Pratis is going to be a problem in that division. He is a fantastic striker, and he knocked out Jiang Lang, who's never been knocked out before.
Never.
And that the Leech is that tough, and he knocked him out cold. Yeah. Like, he didn't move for a while, which was a little bit concerning. I'm glad he got up, but still, like, it was just like, my goodness.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Only 31 years old. 20-6 and looking really, really good. He has he had a 6.5 inch reach advantage. Obviously, utilized that. That Fighting Nerds team is a team also that really should be looked at, and they're starting to have a lot of phenomenal fighters coming out of that team. Yeah. And a great way to kick off the main card. Let's talk about the prelims. We both didn't see the early prelims, but we've got a couple fights to talk about in the prelims. Also another heavyweight fight between the Juggernaut Junior Toffa and the Clean Monster Walter Walker. I kind of forgot about Walter being Johnny's brother, and this is another prospect, up and comer, super tall guy, only 26 years old. And he was legendary, awesome. Man, both these guys. Imagine being in the Walker house growing up. Oh my God, there would have been some serious, crazy wars in that house.
It's amazing that they're brothers because they don't even come close to fighting the same. No. Their fighting styles are completely different. Now, the ending to this fight, some could say that it was controversial.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Some would say that.
Some would.
But I was kind of like, wait, is there not a rule for that? Because he screamed out in pain. Yeah. When I think Walker had like a leg lock on him or whatever. He screamed out in pain. Screaming out in pain, apparently that's the same as a verbal tap.
Nice.
Did not know that.
Nice.
But with the way that he screamed out, I don't blame the ref at all. That is not his fault. That's a verbal tap. You lose.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That should be a rule. Especially there's a lot of positions where it could get way worse if you don't stop it right now. And you're trying to you're trying to get out of it. Sometimes you hear verbal taps, but you hear a guy absolutely scream like that. It's time to end this, because his knee is going to get destroyed, his leg is going to get broken, and then how long of a recovery does he have to endure?
Exactly, right? Like, so I don't blame the ref, but I didn't like how Toffa reacted. Slapped Walker after the fight. It's like,
that wasn't cool.
That's horrible. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. They shouldn't have let him get that close, and they made a mistake having him there. I think the UFC should punish him for that.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
That's not cool, and that's not something we want to see.
Not ever. I don't ever want to see that again, because you're there to compete, and you made that mistake. That's on you.
Yeah. The referee there was Steve Percival. We don't see him a ton, but he's been around for a long time. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt on that one. And Mark Goddard turned 50 on the weekend. Great to see. I think he had 13 MMA fights in his career. I
Oh, really?
actually, I actually looked up his career. He ended up having 13 MMA fights. I think he was 6-1 or 7-6 or something like that, I think. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Did you?
No, I had no idea. I had
Yeah.
no idea. It's good.
Okay, how about the Ricardo Ramos Josh Kulabau fight? Went also to a split decision. Where were you leaning after the third round? Who do you think had won
I
that?
didn't agree with it at all. I thought Kulabau won that fight.
Yeah.
I thought he got screwed, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like I gave Ramos the first round because he almost had the rear naked choke finish. I gave him that, but those other 2 rounds, Kulabau, to me, clearly won those rounds.
Yeah, I
Clearly
don't
won.
think that late takedown should have swayed
No,
it to his side. I don't
get out
think
of
he
here.
deserved it.
No,
Just from that, I don't think he did enough to swing it and give the round to him. And I think they made a mistake there.
I think they made a big mistake. Like I definitely had Kulabau winning that fight.
Yeah. The strikes significance was outrageous. It was just like off the charts. Ramos was barely landing like something like 15% of his strikes. At one point in the third round, the significant strikes were 42-13. Uh, and
Come on. Come on.
Kulabau was landing almost 50%. Ramos was 18% at that moment. So
No.
yeah. I don't like when they give credit so much to a takedown, and
Yeah.
the guy didn't do a ton with it, and was threatening some things, but come on, like
Yeah.
Kulabau deserved that, and that's not cool at all.
No.
Okay, tell me about the fight between Casey O'Neill and Luana Santos. Santos came in as a late replacement. O'Neill looked fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought
Absolutely.
she just that was the best I've ever seen her, and very impressive against somebody that had recently just fought. Really was on a good rise, and she dispatched her no problem at all.
Yeah. She controlled the fight in every aspect, but especially on the feet. Like just her control, her movement, the combination of striking. I just thought that O'Neill definitely outclassed Santos.
Yeah. That was her first win since February 2022. That's insane. Looked so good. She's got a weird nickname, King. I haven't heard a woman be called King. What's
Yeah.
that from?
No, that I didn't. Yeah.
Very weird.
That's all I can say. Yep.
Okay, let's break down quickly the Jack Jenkins Herbert Burns fight. I've actually seen a lot of people online saying, "Cut Herbert Burns. This guy doesn't
Yeah.
deserve to have a UFC contract still. That was disgraceful and ridiculous, and it was a little bit annoying how much he was dropping down and trying to pull guard over and over, and he spent more time on his back than on his feet for a lot of this fight. It was not a good performance. He looked overmatched and in a lot of trouble throughout this fight. And back to the drawing board for him, big time.
Okay. When they said in the broadcast for this fight that Jenkins has actually broken, I think it was 3 different fighters' legs.
Yeah.
3 fighters' legs.
Yeah.
That's like,
Broken their
my goodness,
fibula.
this guy can kick.
Yeah.
So I'll give Herbert that. His leg was pretty beaten up.
Sure.
Got it.
Sure.
But at the same time, you're a professional fighter. Get up and fight.
Yeah.
Get up and fight.
I mentioned Mark Goddard earlier. He just kept getting super frustrated. He's just like, get up.
Oh, yeah.
Come on,
Yeah,
get up.
exactly.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, get up,
Yeah.
And it was starting to become annoying for him and annoying for the viewers. It wasn't cool. He just seemed to be down on the ground way too long. And Yeah, you got to give Jenkins credit for
Oh,
being crazy good with calf kicks and leg kicks, but yeah, Herbert should have had a better game plan, and it didn't look good. I like that Jenkins asked for Gavin Tucker, who he was originally supposed to fight. He
right.
said that he actually lived in Edmonton for a time,
Mhm.
and he wants to fight on the Edmonton card coming up. UFC just recently had announced that they are
Oh,
going to Edmonton coming up November 2nd. So, yeah, let's do that. I would love to see Tucker and Jenkins go at it there.
that was a great call out.
Yeah,
Great call out. I love it because I think that fight would be a banger of a fight. They should make that happen.
let's do it. Yeah. Okay, as I mentioned, we didn't see the early prelims, so let's just quickly preview this coming week's card.
Okay.
We've got the main event, Jared Cannonier against Caio Barraio. Bohaio, I guess it's pronounced. He's on a 4-fight win streak with a no contest kind of in there. Cannonier coming off a loss to Nasruddin Imavov. He's also had some pretty big wins. He had a big win over Sean Strickland and Marvin Vittori in the past year and a half, and lost to Israel Adesanya. Yeah, what do you think we're gonna see here? I like the matchup. Two super tough guys that have about this very similar records.
Do you think that this is maybe too much of a step up for Ohio?
Yeah, might be.
Ohio.
Yeah.
You
Well,
think so? Like, I saw the matchup and I'm like, I don't know if he's ready for Cannonier, man.
well,
I don't know.
look at the last 4 fights for Cannonier. Izzy, Strickland, Vittori, and Imavov. Like that, those are the top of the top, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
this is taking a huge leap
Huge leap.
for Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge leap.
Yep.
I got Cannonier winning this fight. I just I don't believe that Ohio is ready for a guy of his caliber yet.
Yeah.
Not quite ready.
Yeah. Anything stand out to you for the rest of the card? Do you want to mention who do you think's gonna
Well, I was
fight
gonna
tonight?
say the Shabazian Mearshart, the beginning of this card. Interesting matchup.
Yeah.
Interesting. Like I looked at that and I'm like, Shabazian came in with all this hype, and then it just kind of fizzled out. But then I believe he's won his last 1 or 2 fights,
Yeah.
Shabazian, and Mearshart has won 2 himself. So I think it's just an interesting matchup. I'm kind of curious to see who's going to come out on top. I think Mearshart will have a better shot if he manages to get the fight to the ground. If he gets
Right.
that fight consistently to the ground, Mearshart will win that fight. But if he can't, I'm gonna probably give it to Edmund.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, good call. Neil Magny, Michael Morales should be fun. And then there's a lot of kind of up and coming prospects throughout the prelims. So
Yeah.
always gonna be a fun fight, fun card. 4 o'clock prelims Pacific time, 7 o'clock for the main card. Yeah, should be good as always. 305 was fun. There was obviously a bit of controversy, but a couple of really amazing knockouts.
Yeah.
That whole main card was great, I thought.
Oh, it lived up to expectations.
Yeah.
I thought it would. I'm glad it did, and I'm glad I watched it, man. It was great, great main card.
Thanks again for tonight. Thanks again for last night. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you wore your Purple Rain. What was the other reference you had to it?
I think it was like my Prince Purple Rain outfit. It's like, yeah.
No, but there was
Oh,
something else
oh,
too.
you know what? I can't remember. I
Oh,
can't remember. I just remember saying the Prince all the time. So
yeah,
yeah,
there was something else you were referencing, but people loved it. You were one of the hits
yeah.
of the party, and we had such a good time. It was great to see all those people that we've
Yeah.
worked with a lot over the years. Love seeing Jackie and Janice. You know, you and I go
Yeah.
back with them like 10 years. And you know,
There-
it's pretty
There's
amazing
now.
to know them from the indie days all the way to now. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's super cool to see how far we've all come.
Yeah.
You know, like from when we started to where we are now. It's cool, and it's just awesome that we were all on the same show for a little bit. Janice left, but for a little while we were
That's
all on the same show. So
exactly,
it's
yeah.
cool, very cool.
Okay, man. Great as always. That was fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad you got an easier day at work today. I hope you get an easy week ahead. And yeah, keep me posted. Let me know about the supposedly some reshoots or stuff like that. Let me know about what's going on there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll keep you posted for sure, man.
Say hi to everyone for me too that didn't show up to the wrap party there last night. I miss a lot of those guys.
Yeah, I will. I will for sure. I'll send them your, hey, thinking about you.
Awesome, man. Okay, cheers, buddy. Take care.
All right.
Have a good one.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, well, another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast has come to a close. Thanks so much for sticking right to the very end. I appreciate, we appreciate your support, and thanks so much for all the recent comments, subscriptions. Yeah, we're really reaching up there. It's been fantastic to see. Yeah, keep your eye out for The Last of Us. Heard early 2025, so. Yeah, we got a few months to wait, but yeah, it was an epic show. We absolutely loved it, and yeah, they treated us so great last night. We had a blast. I want to thank our partners and sponsors. Want to start with Anchor.fm, the easiest place to make a podcast. Phenomenal at what they do, posting on multiple podcast platforms for us and for you if you want to do the same thing. I want to thank Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, an industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And the V350 stick is a must-have for anyone that plays hockey in your family or friends. Pampas and Possibilities, they can spruce up your home and make it look great with West Coast pretty things. I think they would do wonders with your house if you bring them in. And Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. Yeah, get some of that stuff on our website for really good prices, discounted rates there. So take care of yourself. Have a fantastic week. Enjoy the sports, and we will talk very soon. Love you guys lots. Take care and bye for now.